All right, on that, we dive into our menu today. And first up it has to be Jadeveon Clowney is coming back to the Cleveland Browns. I think we all were waited with bated breath. What's he going to do? Is he going to come back? Is he going to sign somewhere else? According to reports, he signs another one-year contract. The value of this deal is said to be around $11 million for the 1 year. There are other reports, guys, that he turned down more money from other teams. So he clearly wants to be in Cleveland. In fact, if you take a look at some of what he's saying about this, Jadeveon Clowney, this is according to a tweet from Brad Stainbrook. He says that Jadeveon Clowney told Deshaun Watson he enjoyed playing for the Cleveland Browns organization before Watson ultimately decided to waive his no-trade clause to be traded to Cleveland. Clowney is now reunited with Watson. They, of course, played together for some years in Houston. Also, we want you to weigh in on this using only a GIF. We want you to send what your reaction is to the Browns re-signing Jadeveon Clowney. We've already got a ton of them. We're going to go through some of them in just a little bit. But, Bull, let's start with you.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody couldn't love this move, but tell us why you love it.
Well, I love it mostly because it's a one-year deal. Jadeveon Clowney's track record of staying healthy is very questionable, similar to this other player we're going to talk about a little bit, Will Fuller. But he played really well. You know, when Jadeveon Clowney came into the league, we thought he was going to be what Myles Garrett is. Right? Now, he's not that player. Nope. But as a Robin, as a number 2 guy, he's excellent, one of the best in the game. And although a few weeks ago we talked about Landry versus Clowney, if you had to bring one back, I had said Landry. I think I was in the minority opinion there. I still wanted Clowney to come back. In the end, on a defensive line that before they brought in Clowney was the most unproven, unknown group on board, to get now their second best player, or at least their second most proven player on the D-line, I think it's huge. By the way, one other note on this. We mentioned on the graphic there that Mary Kay Cabot had first, which she did, so kudos to her.
Yeah, great job.
She beat the national media on that. I wonder if anybody, I feel like only us media members care about that
That's
stuff, right?
so inside baseball, Bull. We care.
We care.
But nobody else.
We want to give them credit.
Now, look, if you have a track record of breaking stories, like Adam Schefter for a stretch broke everything first. Now it's different.
Isn't Schefter or Rappaport being given some of that stuff by other reporters?
Well, sure, but that's from spending a lifetime covering these guys and building those relationships. They're getting these stories because they've built relationships over the years.
Yes.
And they have all kinds of inside relationships with every team. So there are a couple of go-to guys.
Right.
I always think it's super tough on the local media just because most of these sources want to make the splash, and they go to the Schefters or the Rappaports or the Pro Footballs because they know that it's going to be out there immediately.
Especially the last couple of years with COVID and the lack of access to the locker room,
it was tough.
It's made it hard to cultivate those local relationships.
Brad, you love this move. Why?
Oh, man, let's talk about the building blocks. You know, I have refrained from going to a Super Bowl. As much access I've never been to.
Because you want your first to be a Browns.
It's going to be a Browns. Period.
Wow.
Right. I've refrained from going. Right. Even when it's been close to me, I've refrained from going. Right. And you talk about the building blocks here. So let's talk about the building blocks. Clowney comes back to Cleveland because Myles Garrett is on the other side.
Absolutely.
Right. And you start Clowney, Garrett, Owusu, Koromora, cornerbacks.
The back end of the defense
Ward,
is solid.
Newsome. Right. We are starting to put together the pieces. Right. The offensive side of putting together the pieces. Now, here, we still got a little ways to go, but when you talk about building championship contending teams, I'm just not talking about teams that win the division. Championship contending, you need pieces. That's why you would leave $3 or $4 million on the table, right?
Yeah.
Because you're thinking that you're going to get it in the long run. Coming back here, you might take a little less now, but if this thing really parlays itself, you're going to parlay yourself into something bigger.
Yeah,
right?
you can make $3 million less, and if you win a Super Bowl, you'll make that up.
Right.
Especially for a guy like Clowney. G. Bush, you love it?
Man, I'm going to tell you what I love that, but I love this. Man, check a look at this. He got you dug into the mayor's wardrobe.
That's one of the finest pieces of Cleveland sports wardrobe we've had.
Oh, my goodness. He wasn't playing no more.
G. Bush, I asked him where he got it, and he tried pulling a curveball like you in the hat.
Chief of Staff.
Hey, I'm not telling.
He got that Men in Black thing. Chief of Staff, hey, bring me down the coffee and a brand new brown jacket. Brand new.
I want want the all-black hoodie. I want
All
it
black.
now.
I want the militant version, all black, black on
Fresh.
black.
I like it a lot.
And the matching hat to go. I just don't have it
And
on.
you can get your hat off in a bit. You new to this. You get your hat on for the first segment, take it off. That's how you got to do it. But listen, just like we got that dynamic duo working, Clowney and Myles Garrett is back.
Yeah.
You know what? I was looking at the stats and the average get off. I'm a D lineman at heart. The average get off for Myles Garrett is .76. Do you know that's less than a second? Now you look at Jadeveon Clowney. He's not as agile and he's not as quick as Myles, but his is under a second too, .96. When you look at the amount of hurries, the amount of tackles, the amount of sacks that you can get, when you got two guys like that, it unlocks a whole lot of different things you can do. Now, look, you got Chase Winovich. Now you can put him on the outside. You got a couple other guys like Wright who might be a guy that you can kick these two down, these guys, in that Greyhound package.
Yeah.
Now you get Garrett in the 3 technique. You can get Clowney in the 3 technique. Now we can rush the quarterback. This is exactly why Jadeveon Clowney was essential, because of that guy right there, because he gets his money off too.
See what happens when you throw in the young, hungry dudes.
I didn't even talk about
middle,
Perry.
Right, the hungry ones
And Clowney also
that
really
nobody
good.
knows.
Right.
Clowney also an underrated part of his game because you don't see the stats for it really. Is he is a really good run defender for an end, which usually you think of the
I think he's
defensive
above
tackle.
average run defender for your typical, for a guy that's known more for rushing the passer.
Right.
To your point on, you throw these guys on the opposite ends, and it opens up all kinds of schemes to bring pressure up the middle. We haven't talked about Chase Winovich on this show yet. I'm really glad you brought him up because I've wanted to bring him up a number of times. Here's a guy who for whatever reason, I think very few guys that Bill Belichick has ever released gone on and went on to do great things. The guy that usually he'll take a guy like a Mike Vrabel, who the Steelers tried with and couldn't get anything out of, and he goes to New England and he puts together a career that you can say is close to a Hall of Fame conversation career. He was so versatile there. When a guy gets out of the Patriot system, you've usually seen their best football, but I think this is going to be different. I think Chase in this system with these pass rushers is going to eat. And I loved him at Michigan.
He was
I thought
good
he was
a couple
tremendous
years
at Michigan.
ago, right? And
he started to look like he was going to be that guy in the NFL, and then last year he fell out of favor. And sometimes guys will do that. You get in Bill's doghouse, and that's a wrap. You're done. You don't get your way out of it. So I love this move because it shows that everybody thought that Jadeveon was all about the money, right? Everyone knew he wanted to do a one-year deal, bet on himself. There clearly wasn't a market out there for him before that for a 2 or a 3-year deal because his track record has been he can't stay healthy. He played 14 games last year. He notched 9 sacks. When you take a look at it, a one-year deal is kind of a show-me contract. He did that last year. Reports are he had multiple year offers and decided to come here. It tells me that maybe he's not all about the money after all, because allegedly one of these offers was for more money than what the Browns ended up paying him. He perhaps is looking at this saying, I'm in the back half of my career for sure.
Right.
What defines a player, when you start talking about Hall of Fame down the road and legacy, winning that ring. Everybody says it. Well, Dan Fouts was a great quarterback, but never got that ring. Even Dan Marino. Now we're talking about quarterbacks here. But it holds true for pass rushers. He can rewrite his legacy if he stays here and wins a ring.
People take less money as you get longer in the tooth. Right? Because you want to remember yourself as a winner. You want to be in a winning environment, right? So obviously to come back here, he feels like the nucleus and the makings are here.
He believes in this team.
He believes this thing, right? So now, if you can get everybody to buy into it, right, he may get one more contract walking out the door, right? One more significant contract. And why not do it here with a team that's knocking on the door? Everybody saw it last year. You had all the pieces.
The defense.
It also tells you he really believes in Deshaun Watson.
He does. And what's really interesting is the Browns have never been a team that people took less money to come play. Never. They were the team. The Browns have always been the team that had to pay extra to get a decent player here. The fact that Clowney, if in theory, I mean, I'll be honest, I mentioned this in our pre-show meeting, I'm a little skeptical of these reports that he took less money. But if it's true that he did take less money, and there have been multiple reports, then that's a really good sign for what he and others think about this organization. And remember, last year, the defense did not get off to a good start. Why? Because there were a lot of new faces. And now this year.
But they gelled at the end, man.
Right. Second half of the season, they were great for
Which
the most part.
Which you expected was going to take time.
Which we expected.
Yeah.
But this year, most of the guys on this defense have been here at least a year now.
And the guys that have been hurt in the back end of the defense are healthy.
Right.
At the moment,
let's,
they are.
Let's hope they stay
and
healthy.
There should be a lot more continuity, and I think we should see them play. There's been so much talk about quarterback, deservedly so. But I think the defense should be a top 10 unit from beginning to end.
I hope so.
Even with some question marks up front and at linebacker.
Totally agree. I think going back to him taking less money, hey, you know, when I was approached about this show to even come do the show, I had a corporate job. I said, okay, this is cushy. I work at home.
Yeah.
I got my laptop. I don't do much. But sometimes the opportunity is better than the money.
Right.
Because the opportunity can build something bigger than the money you're getting right now. You can be put in a position that you can elevate and that you can really do something really great. So just
the chance to work with Bull is worth $11 million.
mean, you know,
right there. Right there. So now you're stuck.
Right?
That's right.
We got that. And at least maybe we might get some Jordans from OG over here. I don't know, Mike, if you're listening, like, we like your shoes, bro.
Size 12. Send them our way.
14, like, we can get them. But no, he says, and plus, he might not be giving away too much money. Don't look at it that way. Think about it. You get to a Super Bowl, possibly win something.
Sure.
Or if he ends up with, right now, last year he had 9 sacks, 41 total for his career. That's almost 10% of his production in 1 year.
And it's RG, but it's relationships as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He has this relationship with Myles Garrett. He probably developed a relationship with Joe Woods. And he's got a relationship with Deshaun Watson, which you referenced with the tweet.
Sure.
And so he's like, oh, I know Deshaun Watson's great, and he's the quarterback. I know Myles Garrett's great, and he's the guy that's going to help me get less double teams. I might as well stay here and have success because in the end, yes, it's about being happy, being in the right place. And, yeah, some guys take every last dollar, and sometimes that's a mistake.
Yeah, I think the one word that I would use to sum up this is he's motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems that way,
So we saw what he could do last year when he was playing for a contract. I think that motivation gets the best out of him as it does for other guys. You see guys sign 5-year deals and they go to sleep.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they get into the end of their deal and everybody thinks that they're in their twilight and then they spring back to life and they're playing like they did 5 years ago. Playing for that contract can mean a lot. So I think there's really nothing to not love about this move. Because they were weak at the defensive line.
Yes,
outside of Myles Garrett, who's it doesn't matter if you've got one all-time great player on that line, but you have a bunch of guys next to him.
Right.
It's tough.
And
Dominic doubles and triples all
And
all
Dominic
game.
and Sue, if you listening,
Yeah, I
it's
thought the
your
same thing.
assistant GM, big homie over here. I got the direct line to Andrew Berry. Come on over here, big fella.
He brings some nastiness,
Come
too.
on.
that
Yeah,
they could
he
use.
does.
You want to rush the passer? You gonna be definitely getting singled up.
You want to kick the center in the head? Go ahead and do it.
What are the other AFC North quarterbacks going to be thinking if
Detroit.
Ndamukong Suh decides to come to Cleveland?
Yeah, I mean, he's a big
Can
threat.
you imagine?
Yeah.
How are you going to block these guys?
And angry Perrion Winfrey, he has anger issues. Just keep that on the field between the whistles, big fella. But I like that angerness. Like, that is what we're talking about. And guess what?
Yeah.
Now I'm fully ready to say this. If Deshaun Watson does get 4 games, I'm completely cool with the first 4 games. I got a defense. I got a running game.
You gotta win
I
differently.
I got play action. You know, I think we're going to be just fine. We're going to be just fine with them 4 games right there.
If
It's
it is
an
4
easy
games,
schedule, too, at the beginning.
And even if you went 2-2, you know, which you'd hope to do better because the schedule's not great, you could survive 2-2 when
Absolutely.
7 teams make the playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah, no question.
You know, we'll see, and that suspension is going to be coming down soon, I think.
I think it feels
the
like we're
next
closer
month.
to it than ever before. Mikey McNuggets, what is the internet saying? We asked for gifts to describe the Clowney signing. Do you have anything good?
Oh, we got over 180 responses. This is our most replied to tweet in UCSS history.
There you
So
go.
shout out to the award-winning fans
Twitter's undefeated.
for coming up. Steve, let's pull up the initial tweet just so people know what we're referring to. Yep, take that. Using only a GIF, not a GIF, a GIF. What's your reaction to Jadeveon Clowney re-signing with the Browns?
All right, let's see what you got.
And Steve, let's cut to the first one right here.
I feel like this needs music.
We have music, actually. Steve, you want some
All right,
music?
no, that's beautiful. I'm digging those sparkling wings.
I got a big problem.
What's
Keep
up?
your stupid vegetable tray out of my Super Bowl Sunday. nobody.
Wait, you're on a diet.
I know that, but if we're
Bull,
Super Bowl,
we eating that week. If they go to the Super Bowl, we
the
eat
Browns
that
are in the Super Bowl. I'm not eating carrots and celery.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Come
I
on now.
guarantee you.
Even you're not.
I'm breaking the calorie
That's it.
bank for that game. What else do we have?
You asked for music, we deliver
And
music.
it's perfect. It's exactly what I was looking for.
All right, Steve, let's cut to the next one. I'm African. I know this man is too.
That works. Just rip through them, man. Give us the best ones you
All
got.
right, let's go. We got 2 more, Steve. Let's cut right to the next one.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Right.
And we got 1 more, Steve. Let's get to the last one. Betty White Dad.
Oh,
All the gifts we got. The Betty
God
White
rest her
Dad.
soul,
pretty
baby.
good.
God rest her soul.
That's pretty good.
By
right
the
there.
way, Betty White, like probably 50 years ago, was fine.
Yeah, she
Betty
was a
White
smoke
was
show.
fine.
I think more like 70 years.
Right.
Hey, look,
Check him.
I'm just saying, 50. I
Unless
know.
you're into that.
Hey,
You
hey,
know?
listen, there's nothing wrong with a seasoned woman.
No, there's nothing at all.
I mean,
Listen,
look, Faith Hill is like, what? She's getting to be close to 60. She's going.
Faith Hill
There's a
Halle
next
difference.
to
Berry,
Betty
how old is
White
she?
when they were both 55.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
How old's Halle Berry?